Hello, the internet! It is Saturday, the 3rd of February 2024, and welcome back to the channel. Sydney. Going mad. Sydney, the city, the largest city in this country, Australia, my hometown, is going mad right now. What's it mad with? Why is it going mad? Who's going mad? Who's doing the madness? There's a music festival called Pandemonium Rocks. I didn't break this story, but I've got a music website called Across the Ocean. We'll pull that up in a second. I certainly promoted this music event. It came through my inbox, and I've been promoting it because it's quite an interesting festival, quite an interesting lineup of bands touring the nation. The Sydney date falls on ANZAC Day, which is the celebration of the ANZACs and their successes. We like to remember them every year, and we do that via a dawn service. At the crack of dawn, literally, sky gets light, the service kicks off. Typically, that service is rounded up within the next couple of hours, and people follow the march through the city. And then by mid-morning, 10:30, 11, it's kind of wrapping up. People are dispersing and leaving the city. And so by lunchtime, you've got people in cafes and people leaving, and that's your ANZAC Day celebrations done. This music festival is slated for that day in a place called the Domain in Sydney. Not exactly where this march is or where this service is, but certainly in the same vicinity. Now, this music festival has been booked 6-7 months out. So these dates that they have locked in have been locked in for a long time, to the point where, it's been contracts signed and vendors, it's all going. And then just a couple of days ago, it's all come unraveled where somebody doesn't like that it's close to the march. Even though the festival doesn't kick off, bands don't start playing until 1 p.m. So you got this kind of situation where everybody's got their knickers in a twist, because it's somehow disrespectful to have music on the same day and in the same area that we have ANZAC Day. I mean, it seems utterly ridiculous to me. Number one, isn't there, and this is a bit pedantic, but isn't there drums as they're marching down the street? That's a band, right? That's a marching band. Okay, so that band is specific for the remembrance service and the march. But why can't people enjoy their ANZAC Day by watching live music, which is one thing that makes Australia unique, right? We've got an extremely global, vibrant music scene. Some of the greatest bands on this planet come from Australia, and we've got that. Now, this festival, okay, it's featuring international acts, but it's also featuring Australian acts. We love live music as a nation. Why can't we enjoy our veterans, pay the respect, and then on the same day, pay respect to current veterans of the rock scene? Why can't we do that? Because somebody got upset. Somebody got so upset that this is now being moved. So they're moving this festival from the Domain, and they're chucking it out west at Olympic Park, which is, to be completely fair, a shithole, right? Well, Homebush Olympic Park, they made this, apologies for those that live out there, but it's no city, right? It's no harbour. It's a specific location with stadiums that they built for the Olympic Games in the year 2000, and it's carried on with different events and sporting events. This festival is going to be in the heart of Sydney. Beautiful Opera House, Harbour Bridge, beautiful scenes, good vibes, like good, strong, we're Australians, we're Sydney Australians, and this is our home, and here's a great festival with awesome times. Now it's going to be pushed into, I think it's Quora Banks Arena or Suncorp Stadium, whatever the thing is, just another stadium festival. Yeah, it's going to be good and it's going to be fun, but it's not what it was going to be. And to be completely honest, it pisses me off, because it seems like when someone, hey Woz, how you doing, man? In the chat, John and David and Woz, how you doing, man? Yeah, I'll talk about the chat. We'll get into that, but I just want to get through this first. Then I want to ask you guys what your takes or what your take is on this. If you've got more than one take, it just seems like for everybody to be able to ruffle enough feathers at what could be conceived as the last minute, and then things have to change because one set of people gets upset. And from what I understand, we're going to see a news report or two news reports here. From what I understand, it's not even the dudes from the ANZAC ceremony that are complaining. It's, again, other people. It's not even veterans that are complaining. It's other people on behalf of these veterans. So the veterans aren't upset. They're not kicking up a storm. It's other people on their behalf kicking up the fuss. Also, from what I've gathered, the festival makes a substantial contribution in terms of donations to this War Veterans Fund. So there's no argument or there's no discussion that the festival promoters are trying to milk the Anzacs, because it's a music festival. It's just the same as, and it is the same because this is happening. There's a sporting event happening on the same day. Okay, it's not in the Domain, but it's not far from there. Moore Park, right? The stadium. So they're allowed to go and kick a football around a few hours after the Anzac March, but you can't listen to music. It baffles me. Yo, Pertsky, how you doing, man? I'm sure you've got some comments on this, Pertsky. Let's take a look at my website. It's called Across the Ocean. This is my music website. This is where, well, I'm not going to say I broke the news, but this is where I first promoted this festival, Pandemonium 2024. Yeah, on January 18, this is the festival. Some of the most iconic acts in rock and roll will make history at the inaugural Pandemonium Fest as it sweeps across Australia's East Coast. Alice Cooper. This is a strange lineup of bands, by the way. Alice Cooper, Blondie, Placebo. I mean, Placebo, yawn. Deep Purple, Wheatus. I'm just a teenage. I'm going to get dinged, baby. The Psychedelic Furs, I don't even know who that band is. The Dead Kennedys, of course, not with Jello, but the Dead Kennedys nonetheless. Gang of Four, I photographed them before. Palais Royale, never heard of them. Oziacs, Wolfmother, Cosmic Psychos, and Gyroscope, the band that started my music photography career, Gyroscope. So an interesting lineup of bands. Very strange. Placebo up there on the same size font as Blondie and Alice Cooper. Yeah, it's just a very strange one. So here you go. This is when it was promoted, 20th of April in Melbourne at Caribbean Gardens. Anzac Day, Thursday, 25th of April in the Domain. Now, that's obviously subject to change. 27th at Doug Jennings Park in the Gold Coast and 28th at Sandstone Point Hotel in Bribie Island. If you go to the front of my webpage, Across the Ocean, you'll see an update to this Pandemonium. It's just a statement. It's not an actual expression of what's changing, but it just says Pandemonium Festival organisers Apex Entertainment are working collaboratively with the New South Wales State Government on a solution pertaining to the location of Pandemonium Sydney. We'll update an issue. And as far as I'm aware, it might have come through since I've woken up this morning, but as far as I'm aware, there's been no confirmation that this festival has moved, but the speculation or the word I heard is that it's going to be shifting out to Homebush. Let's take a look at some news reports. Actually, let's take a look at the website of the festival, just in case you want tickets. Placebo, Blondie. I mean, the website just kind of looks up there, the tour poster, I suppose. But either way, I'm not going to play this because that'll get me dinged for certain. But I'll give you in the chat a link if you want to go and check that out yourself. That's in the chat there. And now let's take a look at a couple of news reports. This one from 9 News Australia, explaining the situation which I just explained, and then we'll take a look at another report which does feature some deeper analysis.
Well, an Anzac Day rock concert is making news this morning. The event cancelled due to a clash with the march.
See, already, I got to stop you, buddy. It hasn't been cancelled. The event is not cancelled. Like this should be amended, right? This went out 2 days ago. Cancelled Anzac Day rock concert. It's not cancelled. It's just been moved.
The promoter, Andrew McManus, saying he was dumbfounded by the decision. He joins us now from Brisbane. Andrew, good to see you again, my friend. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Hello, buddy. How are you?
No, not too bad. Well, veterans
Wow. How about that latency as well?
have called the concert wildly disrespectful.
Veterans have called the concert wildly disrespectful. That's actually not correct. It's not the veterans that have done this.
How are you?
No, not too bad. Well, veterans have called the concert wildly disrespectful. You're a smart guy, very good operator. Aussies don't like ANZAC Day being messed with. You'd understand that, right?
I mean, I do, and I'm just going to very quickly read you an email I received last night from one of the highest ranking officers in the Australian Defence Force who is currently on exercises in Hawaii. It just says, "Dear Andrew, as discussed, thank you very much for your ongoing support of Legacy and Wounded Heroes. Have our full support. Regards, Lieutenant General." And I won't go.
So what he's doing there is he's trying to counteract this point that it's veterans that are causing this uproar. There is the top-ranking lieutenant saying, "Thank you for your support." I bet if we chat to the vets, they wouldn't give a shit. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Pertsky, as always, I come in late. I have no idea what's going on. Did you get it from what I was saying though? Did you follow through the story? Hey Rob, how you doing, Rob Mack? G'day, Gibbs.
Get his name out of it. And then through our publicist last night, I got another. I was reached out to, and it was from one of the veterans. He says, "You may want to get the organisers to ask if the ESOs actually asked any of their members, or they just acted off their own bat. As an active member of both the RSL and Naval Association, I was never told anything. And as a Gulf War vet, we see no issue with your concert."
See,
Right there. At that point, this is direct information from veterans that see no problem with the event. So who is the one with the issue, and what is their actual agenda to have this moved? He roughly gets it? Yeah.
So what's happened? I mean, this was 6 months ago in the planning and the approval, I take it. What led to yesterday out of the blue? You there, buddy?
Sorry, buddy.
So what happened then?
Yep,
Tell me what happened.
Some Karen probably wrote a letter, was right. Yeah, that's as sad as that sounds. That's more than likely what happened. Right now, you look like you're getting the beloved Australian internet issues with this guy. Doesn't affect me anymore. I'm on gigabit fiber. Hell yeah.
Because 6 months ago, I presume you got the approval, and then yesterday you're blindsided by the Premier.
Yep.
Are you okay, buddy?
Yeah, I can. It's just breaking up a bit, Carl. That's all.
All right, so you're live on air. Just wanted to let you know. But what happened yesterday? Can you tell us?
So basically, on Thursday night at 9 o'clock, I got an email that came through saying, which blindsided me completely. And obviously, this is just before the long weekend that our contract was being revoked from the Botanical Trust. I then spent the weekend reaching out to trying to reach them, which fell on deaf ears, no replies.
Wow. He gets an email saying your contract's been revoked. And by the way, have a good long weekend. See you later. Can't get a response for 3 days. Jeez.
And subsequently through the channels, through Chinese whispers, heard it was the RSL movement who was upset.
Now, he probably can't be saying Chinese whispers. Is that off limits these days? It sounds like that'd be off limits. Chinese whispers. You might want to walk that one back in 2024. Chinese whispers? Shit. That's going to cop. Someone's going to get upset with that, right? Not me, but someone's going to be upset with the way he phrased that.
Which fell on deaf ears, no replies. I then subsequently through the channels, through Chinese whispers, heard it was the RSL movement who was upset with us. So I reached out to them via email, via text, and via phone call, even to the degree saying, look, I just want dialogue. Tell me what the problem is and we can solve it together. I have no issue with implementing the RSL movement into our, I think, generous donations that we're making from every ticket. going to Wounded Heroes and to Legacy, specifically for veterans' welfare. And irrespective of us being on ANZAC Day, we're not an ANZAC Day concert. We are just an event being occurring on the 25th of April. And in doing so, we ticked all the boxes that was requested of us via the Botanical Trust.
So it sounds like if he reached out via text, email, and phone call, and to all with no response, he's made every attempt conceivable in his, aside from a carrier pigeon, aside from walking up and knocking on their door, he's made every attempt to remedy this, even by offering them more, like a donation. They're already donating to, what did he say, wounded veterans. Now he's saying, well, why don't we also donate to the RSL fund a portion of ticket sales? We'll do that to mitigate this. Is this monetary, or is this just a bunch of Karens not enjoying that Australians, young Australians, may rather end their ANZAC Day with a rock show than these veterans, or a select number of them, might not enjoy rock and roll? Is that what's going on? They don't want this to be done. They don't mind that we do it, as long as we don't do it near the ANZAC Day celebrations. But like I said, that's a dawn service. I'd understand if this festival was like a morning rock festival, which would be a unique concept. That doesn't happen. Imagine a morning rock festival. First band on at 8:30 a.m. main stage. It's not. It's an afternoon kickoff. The dawn service kicks off at dawn. Hey Siri, what time's sunrise?
Today, sunrise was at 6:17.
6:17. Yo, Sam Morgan, thanks for the follow. Oh, the sub. 6:17 a.m. was sunrise today. That's what time, or approximately, because it'll be a little bit later, be earlier in the winter or in the cooler months. This isn't clashing. The times aren't clashing here. Radox, how you doing, man? David, Sydney Olympic Park will be good for ANZAC Music Festival if they let it happen. Well, I mean, if you asked me, and nobody is asking you really, but I'll answer it just in case someone wants to know. Sydney Olympic Park, whatever. Sydney Harbour, the Domain, Botanic Gardens, that's a location, right? That's a beautiful, iconic location for anything to happen. We used to go there on end of work days on Friday from the library and drink home brews and look at the harbour. Beautiful location, iconic location. Sydney Olympic Park, Homebush, whatever it is, the Acora Stadium. Yeah, I can take it or leave it. I mean, if it came down to it, would you rather cancel the event or move it? Of course, move it, but
no amplified music before 1 p.m.
Right.
And
no amplified music before 1 p.m. That includes sound checks, right? So there is no clash here. No clash. Also, they're not playing, but you know what I'm saying.
Making sure that we did implement the all respect to our fallen heroes.
Yeah.
And in essence, the way we saw it was a commemoration in the morning and then celebration in the afternoon.
Exactly.
And these men and women fought for our freedom and to give us the ability to be able to have entertainment and have a good time. And it's just, look, it's just not something that in any way, shape or form did we want to put ourselves in a position of not being respectful.
I understand. So what do you...
Amen. Right on, was. I 100% agree. I concur. We'll come back to that, but I just want to bring in an additional point that just occurred to me. What would have happened if on this bill was a major Australian act? I mean, you could argue Cosmic Psychos, Wolf Mother, and Gyroscope. I mean, they're major to me. I love all those bands. And like I said, Gyroscope has a personal connection in terms of what that band means to me and music photography. But what if, let's say, I don't know, it's a pretty strange lineup. What if they brought Kylie Minogue back to Australia and said, do you want to headline Pandemonium Rocks in Sydney on Anzac Day. Imagine if Kylie, and I'm just saying this as what ifs, but imagine if Kylie Minogue or, okay, all right, factor this. Forget Kylie, right? Forget the locomotion. Imagine Silverchair came back for a one-off gig and they went, you know what? We want to reform. We want to celebrate Anzac Day in the way that we know we can. We want to rock for Australia, one of the greatest bands from this country that everybody wants to see play again, right? Let's be honest. Everybody wants that. And I've always said, let me just tangent here for a second. I've always said, if Silverchair ever reform and play a show, mark my words, clip this shit. You can clip on YouTube. Clip this next bit. If Silverchair ever perform live again in Australia, this will be the biggest music event this country ever sees up till now and potentially for all time. The reason? Because everyone back in the day that liked Silverchair and that was into Silverchair is now older. And then also the older people that didn't like Silverchair when they were popping, because you can't like Nirvana in pajamas, I don't like that. They've all now grown up and realized that, no, this was a rad band. So they'll all go to it. So you'll get this massive influx of people that didn't see them when they were popping because they didn't want to be associated with a young Australian band that just sounds like Nirvana or whatever. So they'll all go there. You'll have this bunch of new crew that are now the generation that didn't get to see this band because they were too young. They weren't born. So you got this huge amount of people that did witness it and that want it again. You got this huge amount of people that lived it but didn't go, that will go. Then you got this huge amount of people that have heard of it and want to relive the 90s and they'll go. You get this massive influx. So imagine that was what was on this bill. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying what ifs. What would happen if... I'll tell you what would happen. There'd be an outcry. There'd be an uproar. People would be like, no. Silverchair are playing at the Domain. This is going ahead. We don't care who's arguing it. We're rocking, right? We are rocking for this nation. So I'm just saying it's unfortunate that there aren't big pull Australian bands on this bill because... As you'll see in a moment, they get Deborah Harry from Blondie up and she's like, I don't care where I play. But an Australian band would be like, fuck. I mean, they'd be like, no, we're playing this show, right? This is a big thing. And we can respect the veterans, we can respect Anzac Day, and we can reform Silverchair. You can do both things. Pertsky, these people make most of their money from gambling addicts and alcoholics. I'll listen to them when they get rid of all their pokies. I mean, right. I don't really want to go down that avenue, but I agree with what you're saying. Let's continue on with this.
Just quickly before we go, because I do agree with you.
Either, by the way, we're going to move it.
Yeah, where are you going to move it to?
To Cathy Freeman Park.
All right. You won't have any dramas there?
No, SOPA's been fantastic. And I struck the deal with them last night, and we're just going to dot the I's and cross the T's.
There you go. So he's just said it's going to be moved yet. Channel 9 News still calls this video cancelled Anzac Day rock concert sparks controversy. They should amend this and say it's not cancelled, it's been moved.
Over the next 48 hours, and then we'll make the official announcement and obviously give it to you and Sarah to hopefully punch out for it.
Good to talk to you, Andrew. Look, you do raise an awful lot of money for those important charities, Legacy particularly. They're just wonderful.
What a crock of shit.
Best of luck with it. Thanks for being with us. You may not know, but there's been a couple of dramas with moving the concert.
So this is just some Vox Pops now with Deborah Harry. Just check this out.
Were you aware of all that drama?
No, tell me.
So basically, you couldn't perform in the location that they had because of Anzac Day. But that
I wonder if she even knows what Anzac Day is.
I think the promoters have found another venue for you now, so you can rest easy. I know you were stressed about it.
Oh, well, no, I wasn't.
Oh, so funny. Isn't that hilarious? Isn't that hilarious that an international act doesn't really give a shit where they play? They just want to play. Look at the laughter this generates.
No, because she is a cool customer, isn't she, Deborah Harry?
Wow.
She's seen it all. She's seen it all.
Wow.
I love it.
There's little faces.
They must get an award for the most overreactive response ever. Look at this. There's even a thigh slap there. It's not that funny.
No, I wasn't.
No, because she is a cool customer, isn't she, Deborah Harry?
She's seen it all. She's seen it all. I love it.
There's little phase
you know,
Well, New South Wales.
So the point of that was that, again, backing up my initial point, that if it was an Aussie band that was the major pull for this festival, there'd be a lot more conversation. He's such a tool, Pertsky. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could check this there's another report here I've pulled up, but I don't know if it doesn't really say much more than what we've just seen. I thought there was an interview in here, and this one plays music, so I don't really want to get dinged. Oh yeah, this bit here. I think this is the what's his name? The W Return Servicemen's League chair, I think, from memory.
Premier agrees.
Premier. This is the New South Wales Premier, my bad. Check out what his response
It's
is.
shut down, and the Premier agrees.
So he's in favour of moving this event.
Domain due to start as the post-March commemorative ceremony at the Pool of Remembrance finishes. The RSL wants it shut down, and the Premier agrees.
A rock concert in the middle of the CBD on ANZAC Day can't go ahead. And
Why not?
We won't allow it to go ahead.
You've got the football.
Why not?
Away in the Domain due to start as the post-March commemorative ceremony at the Pool of Remembrance finishes.
Due to start as the post-March ceremony finishes. In the very nature of those words, that tells me there is no clash. Who banned music festivals on Anzac weekend? Yeah, this guy. This guy did.
Post-March commemorative ceremony at the Pool of Remembrance finishes. The RSL wants it shut down, and the Premier agrees.
A rock concert in the middle of the CBD on ANZAC Day can't go ahead. And we won't allow it to go ahead.
You've got the football up the road. Is that disrespecting the Anzac? East and St George go head to head, 40,000 people. So what's the difference between sports entertainment and music entertainment?
It's a fair question. It's a fair question. However, the sporting event's quite a ways away. The problem with this is that it's too close.
Pandemonium features 13 international artists, including Blondie, Deep Purple and Alice Cooper. The East Coast tour has been in the pipeline for 6 months, and organisers say they can't change the date.
I thought we ticked all the boxes, and I would have hoped that through the support we're giving through Wounded Heroes, and have done so in the past, and through Legacy, that it shows that we're legitimately sincere in our efforts and our thoughts with the returned servicemen.
The organisers
Right on.
are now in talks with the state government, negotiating a relocation, with the concert most likely to be held here at Olympic Park. But the 11th hour overhaul won't come cheap.
Obviously there'll be an enormous financial burden there.
There should be some compensation to these guys, right? Because they had contracts signed, and then at the last minute they've reneged on the contract. Shouldn't they be getting compensated for that?
Lesson learned from the New South Wales government. I'm sorry that it's gone this far.
Oh, there's the compensation. We apologise. Sorry. Wow.
But the 11th hour overhaul won't come cheap.
Obviously there'll be an enormous financial burden there.
Lesson learned from the New South Wales government. I'm sorry that it's gone this far.
Sophie Upcroft, 9 News.
Sorry that it's gone this far. Yeah. Someone should have spotted that way back when and said, "Wait, isn't that Anzac Day? Maybe there might be an issue there, but we'll work it out first." Instead of letting it go all the way along 6 months later and then go, "By the way, yeah, you can't do that there. Like that's Anzac Day. You can't do that there. What were you thinking?" And they're like, and he's like, "Lesson learned, New South Wales Premier. We messed up." And the one that'll suffer is music. Live music, again, will suffer in this city. New South Wales politics is so cringe. I mean, a music event in the heart of the city on Anzac Day just will not happen. We will not allow it. We will not allow it. Well, what if there's more people that want to allow it than don't want to allow it? And you're the premier of this state. Don't you listen to the people that you're serving? Don't you have to like pay some attention to what those people think, because they're the ones that you're governing over? Yeah, I see 7 watching and 4 likes. Yeah, don't forget to like this up, folks. If you agree with me, or if you want an Anzac Day march, and what about this? What about if you can't get from certain locations? Like, let's say you want to go to the dawn service and then you want to stick around, get lunch, and then go to a festival. and you don't, there's transit involved in that, right? If now you've got to go from the heart of the city all the way out west to this other location. So are they going to run free buses out there? Because people, I'm just saying, like, it's an expense, right? People spend a lot of money on these tickets for festivals. So maybe they were like, well, we can go to that one because we're already in the city anyway. So we'll do our war service. We'll pay our respect to those that have fallen. We'll stick around. We'll hang out in the domain for a while. We'll get some lunch. Then we'll cruise across to this festival. But now you got to factor in transit out to Homebush and then back again after the event. Are they going to throw on free transit for that? Probably not. Probably not. More than likely not. If I know Sydney, they definitely won't. And I thought I knew Sydney. It saddens me that this is the case, but there it is. Pandemonium 2024, folks. I'll let you guys know how the event went. If you want to follow along, you can keep an eye on my acrosstheocean.com.au website. We'll be issuing whatever press releases come from the promoter about that change in location. And of course, I'm probably going to, I think Marty's going to come and review that event. So I'll be photographing and Marty will be reviewing. And I wonder if there will be any conversation at the event about the change in location. And I wonder if any veterans will be there to enjoy the rock and roll. We can do both. We can have ANZAC Day and we can have a rock and roll festival. Australia, come on, we can do two things. Hey, thanks for being here on the stream, folks. If you haven't already, like the stream, share it out, and I'll catch you later on Kick Live stream.